Well, hello there, people. How are you doing? Welcome to the Game Hump. It's your midweek ritual. We're here this week on the Gamehuggers YouTube channel. We're doing the Game Hump Wednesday night. And this week we've got Nullity and myself as the Gamehuggers. And we're going to sit here and chat about must-play video games that we just never really played. John, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing quite well. How about yourself?
So far, so good. This has been one of the shittiest work weeks of my life. But I'm glad because there's only 2 more days to go. So
Right
that's a
on.
big deal. What are some games or pickups that you've gotten recently, sir?
I haven't been picking up a whole lot. Yeah, time's been pretty scarce. I haven't been on the show for a while, and I really appreciate you having me back after last time, the whole exposing myself at the end of the episode. I apologize again for that.
It's
I
all good. That's all good.
picked up a giant phone. I mean, it's like as big as my head, giant.
Now, does that mean your phone's really big or your head's really small?
I don't know.
Mine's not that big. Look at that. It's pretty small. That's funny. Wow. So is it an Android or is it an iPhone?
It's an Android.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been playing some mobile games, I guess. They have an autoplay feature on them, which is really nice. You can just tap the button and watch it play itself and then pay money to get more power-ups.
Isn't that funny? Oh, God. Yeah, the games are so stupid. Because I know there's a couple games. I think it was like Maple Story. It was an old game that I played maybe like 10 years ago on PC. Just a stupid side-scrolling, almost felt a little bit like a 16-bit MMORPG. And they have a new version out for Maple Story Pocket for phones, and you literally can just autoplay it. You push a button, and every once in a while, if your character's got low on health, you can heal them. But you can just sit and watch it autoplay. It's like, wow. That's so funny. Kids today, indeed. Kids and adults. I mean, it's just such a casual thing now. It's an experience that everyone does. Everyone's gamers. So I think at least they call themselves gamers. So you haven't got any big pickups or anything fun and exciting lately?
I downloaded on the Wii U a game called Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh, nice. Cool.
And it's pretty fun. I haven't been able to really sink a lot of time into it. What I have played has been pretty enjoyable. There's a lot there to micromanage. I never really felt like I had a life until I played that game. It's like, oh, I got too much stuff going on to learn all this.
Yeah, right. That's funny. So you just picked that up on a whim just for yourself, or was that for your kids? Or
It's actually hidden on like the 6th menu screen on the Wii U so that they can't find it and mess with it. That was for me, following a PC Engine FX forum discussion thread about the game.
Oh, cool.
A lot of people were saying it's really, really good, and I was really hoping it would be the game to bring me out of the 16-bit era.
I don't think so.
I mean, it seems fun, but yeah, give me Bonk or give me
Death?
Bonk 2.
Give me Bonk or give me Bonk's Revenge. Okay, so, and if you're interested in more Xenoblade Chronicles information, we have like 12 hours of it uploaded on our YouTube channel, which you can check out just by clicking on the Game Huggers link down there to check out anything else from our YouTube channel. That's a Xenoblade Chronicles X playthrough by our good friend Meng, who has been on this episode as well. And you met him, John. He was at the Midwest Gaming Classic.
That guy's a beast. I've never seen anyone sit down for like 36 hours straight until they master, tough as nail shmup like Image Fight 2.
Yeah.
It's just insanity.
Yeah, he wants to do it again too. He wants to stream it. So I think that would be an interesting stream. However, I'd be worried that he'd just be falling asleep while he was playing it. Because that's a long, long marathon. But okay, so no new pickups lately. I'm trying to think of what I've gotten recently. I ordered 2 Roomba batteries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I'm just thinking of packages that I've opened recently. And then I actually got just a generic 500 gig actually I've got the old one right here, 500 gig hard drive for a PS3.
Nice.
I wound up picking up a $20 PS3 maybe like 6 months ago from a pawn shop, and it just said would not recognize hard drive. It was written on it, and it was $20. Bare bones, no hookups, no nothing with it. But I'm like, $20 for a PS3. I mean, that's not a bad deal. And it was the 60 gig version, which I believe is backwards compatible with the PS2. So I took this out and tested out the hard drive, and sure enough, it's corrupt. I think it's just like something's fried in the hard drive. So I got a new hard drive, and I'm planning this weekend, if I have any free time, which I doubt I ever will, but I'm planning on installing it on the PS3 to see if I can get it working. I have most of the PS3 like half ripped apart because I didn't realize how simple it was to remove a PS3 hard drive. I was just pulling it apart from the top and just digging down, and I kept pulling all these things out, and I'm like, man, this is really weird. Where the hell is this hard drive? And then I looked up online. Apparently there's a door on the side that you just pop off and you just pull it out. But it's a good thing I opened it because it is filthy inside. There is like dust, dirt, just disgusting. So I'm going to clean the whole thing out and then put it all back together, hopefully correctly. I doubt it, but hopefully correctly, and then see if I can get it running.
A lot of those screws are just extras.
Yeah, if I get any extra screws, I'll use them in different places, different systems or whatever. It's all good. But yeah, I haven't ever really played much PS3 stuff. So that's an interesting segue into what our main topic is going to be today. And that is must-play hit games. Video games that are absolute wonderful games that everyone you know has played, but yet you've never really gotten into. And the PS3 is a good example for that because during that era, I didn't really ever buy or own a PS3, like ever. I mean, this PS3 that I got from this pawn shop is the first one that I've personally owned. We do have one in our house, but it's kind of like our family system. Kids play Little Big Planet, and that's about it. Oh, and there's a few other games, like the downloadable ones, like Flower is a pretty cool one, and a couple other games. But I don't think I've ever sat down to play anything on the PS3 yet, which is like a giant library of games that I know I'm completely missing out on. And now that the next generation is in full swing, you can kind of go to game shops and find PS3 games on budget. So that's kind of cool. So I've been kind of looking around for some games and picking up new things. Games that I just recently picked up for the PS3. I shouldn't say recently, but in the last 6 months-ish, are like Ni no Kuni and Disgaea 3 and 4, and there's a couple other ones I grabbed too. I can't think of. I think Left 4 Dead is one of them. And that was on a recommendation by my good friend Aaron, who's like, you have to play this game. And so I picked it up. It was like $6 or whatever. Just have not played it in, have not put it in yet to try it out. I'm sure it's a fun game. By some standards, people really like those kind of games. Hopefully I'll get into it. I don't know. The genres of current gen survival horror and first-person shooters and multiplayer online games just straight over my head because they look fun and I enjoy watching people play them. Like when my kids get a game going and I sit and watch them, that's really cool. But I don't know. It just isn't. It isn't the same kind of video gaming that I grew up with. It's just not the same amount of interest. I mean, even first-person shooters. I love Doom. I love Wolfenstein. I love Faceball 2000. Like I can play those, and I'm pretty competitive in those. But you give me a controller and put Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare 3 or whatever. I'm just like, what do I do? I don't know.
Yeah, I always tried to love all those games, but like you, it's not what I grew up with.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're good. Lots of people seem to like them. That many people can't be completely wrong. But
oh yes, they can.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of wrong, part of the reason I haven't been gaming so much, and I'm going to call you out publicly for this, Josh.
You're going to call me out publicly?
What's that?
You're going to call me out publicly?
I'm going to call you out publicly.
Son of a gun. Okay, I'm listening.
I've been using the Map My Run application.
Oh, awesome.
And I sent you a friend request, and you ignored it. And I've stopped running because of it.
Are you serious? Okay, hold on.
I didn't know if you saw it or whatever, but
well, how do I even know how do I know when I get a friend request? My home? Maybe? Okay, I'm on mapmyrun.com right now. Okay, let's see. Are you serious? Did you actually send me a request or?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, what the hell?
I was surprised how many Joshua Jaegers there are. I mean, you wouldn't think there'd be that many.
Oh, shit. Okay, so friend request from John. Deny or accept? Okay, you are officially my friend on mapmyrun.com.
Now you can see my pathetic, like 10-minute, 5-hour walks.
No, that's awesome though, dude. You mean do you want to talk at all about your successes, or because you've dropped some weight, and that's even just from I met you for the first time ever in real life, IRL, like 13 months ago, and you look like a completely different person when I saw you last month. So that's really awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, I wasn't really looking to go there necessarily, but I have taken off quite a bit.
That's awesome.
About 17% of my body mass.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really cool. I mean, that's a good feeling because not only the ladies think you're prettier because you got a fine curvy butt instead of a wall for a butt, but you also feel better when you go up a flight of stairs, or you feel better about chasing around kids, or in the long run when we're 50 and 60 and 70 years old, we'll feel better than if we're overweight. The reason why I kind of got crazy behind things like Map My Run and We Fit and stuff like that is because back in 2008, when We Fit first came out, a little bit of backstory, and this is we're way off topic now, but that's I don't care. No, it's all good. But back when I was in high school, I was about 220 pounds. And I never really weighed myself. I've never exercised my whole life. And it was like 11 years after high school, and we bought We Fit, and I expected to stand on that thing and it was going to tell me I was 220 pounds because I didn't, obviously I'd gained weight. I was a lot slower than I was, but I just thought that was old age or whatever. Never really paid attention to my weight at all. And I stepped on We Fit and it told me I was 265. So I'd gained 45 pounds in like 10 years or 11 years. And so I got like focused on wanting to lose weight, and the gamification of being able to lose weight, like the more weight I lost, the better I got at the games. And so the better I got at the games, the more games I'd unlock, and the more, the higher level I would gain in this game. It became like a super addiction for me. And by summer of 2009, I was down to 195. And I dropped freaking 70 pounds. It was like crazy how much weight I had lost so fast. So I cut out like all treats. I cut out soda. I cut out, beer. I cut out a lot of stuff, and I wound up dropping so much weight so fast. And it was really funny because in the summer of 2009, people were saying I looked really sick, like I had cancer. And so I wound up like kind of evening out. I exercise, but I also eat. I eat pretty well. Like I eat probably way more than I should, and now I'm around like 215. So I feel pretty good. But
especially if you're your height, man, you're like what, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'3". Yep.
Tall mofo.
Tall mofo.
I'm glad you mentioned We Fit, by the way, because that does kind of fit into the topic. Everyone at some time has heard of We Fit. It was like a huge phenomenon when it came out. It's like, holy shit, a game that makes you not be fat. So a lot of people, and it's got a lot of interest. I have a We Fit, and I couldn't use it because I exceeded the weight limit on it. Yeah. Now I can use it. It didn't even occur to me until you mentioned that. So
that's freaking awesome.
That boy out.
Hell yeah, dude. That's great. Because that was what I was worried about. I remember reading on the box, and it said the weight was this much for getting on, and you couldn't, if you were exceeded that weight, you could not play. And I was like, when I stepped on, I saw my weight. I was like, oh my god, like I'm almost there. So Jesus, yeah. So it was cool. It was kind of an eye opener, and it was. I like it. Map My Run is just kind of a cool way to do it. Get an app on your phone. You take it with you on runs or whatever. You can, you can do a lot with it. Your bike rides, your runs, any kind of exercises, just put it in your pocket and just do it along with it. And it'll kind of keep track of what you did and how many steps you take. Speaking of another thing, have you looked into getting like a Fitbit?
This episode of Game Huggers brought to you by Fitbit, MyRadio.com, and Nintendo Fit, whatever the hell it's called. I've already forgotten.
This is the Nintendo, brought to you by Nintendo Wii and all other gamers. There's actually a gamer Get Fit Gamer Club too, a Facebook group that I'm a part of. People talking about doing exercises and stuff while they're gaming and stuff. It's really silly. Anyway, so the Fitbit, this can hook up to your Map My Run account, yada yada yada. It'll basically track all your steps and stuff like that. It'll keep track of your heartbeats per minute, how many miles you move, how many calories you intake, how many floors of steps you go up. You can connect it to your Map My Run thing. So like on your calendar, it'll automatically, like at midnight, it'll send all your results to that. So it's kind of cool. Whoa, what was going on there? Do you have one?
Oh, it must have been some kind of glitch. I wasn't concealing anything from the camera.
Oh, okay.
That is awesome though, because I wanted to get a good smartwatch that does all the pedometer stuff, heart rate, all that.
Yeah, so I like it. I think it's really cool. Anywho, what we're going to talk about today is games that were really big hits that everyone says is a quote-unquote must-play game, yet for some reason or another, John or myself never really got into it. And I just want to do a quick shout out to our good friend 90s Cyber Thriller. He says, "Sup guys?"
Sup?
And I say "Sup homie" because that's how we talk in the hood. Wow, I don't know what I'm saying. So, who wants to go first? Because I got a couple that are like no-brainers, because if anybody knows me, I'm terrible at anything that's current gen. So there's a lot of really popular shit out there that I just don't care about. I mean, people should try to really, I wish somebody would just really try to convince me to play these games, because I watch trailers and every single Call of Duty looks the same to me. Every single Battlefield looks the same to me. You add aliens, you add science fiction, you add like lasers and stuff, cool, but the games don't change. Like they're the same thing every single time. Star Wars Battlefronts, that game around Christmas time, the big demo came out for that, and I played it and it looked really pretty. But after about 10 minutes, I was like, I think I'm done. Like, I don't know what to do. This is neat and it's really fun and it looks really pretty, but I'd rather go back and get better at Nexer, or something like.
Right.
So, what's your first game on your list, John?
Oh man, I am the perfect and worst guest for this show because I totally quit gaming after the Turbo Duo tanked. I have since gotten back into it. I'm going back through exploring the relatively old games. But one that really qualifies is Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Back in the day, everyone was all about it. Still today, you have a lot of people singing its praises about how it's the best Final Fantasy, the best role-playing game. Stories, emotional, it's just the shit. And I have not played it a single time. I've seen people play it. I wouldn't mind playing it. I just never have.
Final Fantasy VII is an interesting one because it's got a very it's a very various opinions, a very polarizing opinions by most people. Some people think it's way overrated, and some people think it's like the greatest RPG ever. And those are probably people that played through it when they were like, I don't know, mid-teenagers, and they think of it now with such fond memories, sort of in a similar way when we think of maybe some games that came out that weren't necessarily all that great in the 16-bit or 8-bit era. But my personal opinion of Final Fantasy VII is that it is actually a pretty good game, and you should definitely play through it. Oh, I don't know if you should play through it. You should definitely play it. It's you're investing some time. I mean, it was a 3 or 4 disc game, and each disc was about 5 to 10 hours. So I mean, if you really, really want to play it, man, it's 20, 30 hours. So I know they're remaking it this fall or this summer or this fall, so you could technically, with the new consoles, you could play through it in HD now, because there's going to be a remake version of it coming out that is maybe going to be good or maybe going to be terrible. I've heard lots of different opinions because they're changing a lot of the gameplay. They're changing it from a turn-based RPG to a hack and slash action adventure, which is a terrible decision in my opinion. But we'll see.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would they do that?
I don't, because every Final Fantasy since 12 has been that type of game. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's because Final Fantasy 11 and Final Fantasy 14 and soon to be 15 are those types of games. And they think that, and they sold better than the other ones. So they think that gamers are looking at more of a more of a action paced RPG, similar to like Skyrim or you know, Fallout or something like that are considered RPGs but are really just first person adventure games with RPG elements. Whereas like Final Fantasy, the last good one in my opinion is 10, which is a turn-based RPG, a classic style. It's got a great soundtrack, it's got great graphics and a really good storyline with a really whiny main character, but still a good storyline. And it's, I don't know. It's really odd. All I wanted was a Final Fantasy VII in HD. Like I dig that. That'd be kind of cool to see the same game, you know, and it was widescreen with HD graphics. You can kind of see things a little bit clearer. But Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation or Final Fantasy VII on the PSP, there's a lot of different ways to play it. I believe you can even get an emulator now and play it on a computer or something like that. Or there actually is a PC version of it as well. That's very nice. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely better RPGs. There were better RPGs that came out during that same time. Personally, I think Panzer Dragoon Saga is a much better RPG. But that's only because it's incredibly unique and it was on the Saturn. So I kind of favor Saturn versus PlayStation anyway. But I don't know how to convince you to play it. I don't know if I can.
Oh, I'm already sold on it. It's just, you know, finding the time. Actually, picked up a PS2. I guess it's been about a year ago, and my understanding is that will play Final Fantasy VII still.
It will. Yep. It's backwards compatible. Yep.
Just have to block off the time and make it happen.
There you go. After you beat all the PC Engine RPGs.
Right. I mean that's number one on the bucket list. You know, Final Fantasy VII, every other game in the world. That's number 2 and below. Nice.
You know, it would be an easy RPG list to go through is the N64 RPGs because there's none of them. So that'd be an easy one. Actually, there's a couple. There's Aiden Chronicles and Quest 64, and Shadowgate 64 if you consider that an RPG. That's it. Oh, maybe Ogre Battle 64, but that's more of a strategy RPG. I think that's it though. Wow, it's pathetic. N64 is such a piece of shit. Anyway, so. Sorry. My pick for a game that is a must-play, and it's going to be kind of shocking, is most of the Mega Man games on the NES and on the Super NES. So here's to preface this. I have played through Mega Man 2. I played through that when I was like 15 or 16. It was after Mega Man 4 had already come out. Because I remember Mega Man 4 coming out and getting kind of mixed reviews saying, well, it's the same shit all over again. And so my neighbor, or actually my nephew's neighbor, had a garage sale and was selling Mega Man 2, and my nephew bought it for like $10, and we wound up huddled up in his room and played it like for a weekend, and we beat it. And I really do like it. I've never played through it since then. I thought it was a really good game. The soundtrack's amazing. It's legendary. I mean, everyone's heard the Mega Man 2 soundtrack. It's really, really good. And I played quite a bit of Mega Man 3, mainly because I saw it. Oh, where did I see it? I think it was a grocery store that was selling their rental games. Because back when we were kids, grocery stores used to have rental sections with movies and video games and laser discs. Maybe, I don't know. But so I remember seeing Mega Man 3 there, and I bought it, and it was like $5 or $10 or something like that, used with, you know, the writing all over it, the stickers all over it from the grocery store, like Pick and Save or something like that. And I didn't play through it all the way, but I remember really thinking it was pretty cool. I like the Mega Man games mainly because you can pick which level you want to start with and get good at that particular one, and then try another one, and then try another one, and just you kind of you can write down your password and you can come back to it later. But I never played through Mega Man 1. I hardly have ever even played it. Matter of fact, the most I've ever played Mega Man 1 was on the TurboGrafx 16 because our friends recently, was it Bonk Nuts and Jody and Sean have made reproductions of those classic NES games on the TurboGrafx, and I played through more of Mega Man 1 on the Turbo than I ever have on the NES version. It's got advanced music and CD track, CD Red Book audio and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool to play it through that. But Mega Man 4, 5, and 6, and 7 on the Super Nintendo, and 8 on the PlayStation and the Saturn, I barely have ever even touched. Like, I remember, I honestly don't know if I've ever played 4 or 6 of Mega Man's, and I don't think I've ever played 7. And 8, I remember trying and thinking it was horrible. So I need someone to like convince me or show me what's so great about these games, because 5 is one that I think I will give a shot to. And you know what? Honestly, I'll probably eventually someday maybe play all of them. I'm like probably maybe, but probably not. I would love to play through all of them because they seem like they're really fun games, but they're just kind of mods or hacks of the first and second games. Like every one of them adds a slight little thing and makes a couple different bosses that are slightly different but not really, and the levels are definitely unique from each other. But it feels like it's just I don't know, like when they did Mario, when you see people online doing hacks of like Super Mario 1, and it's like, ooh, this is Super Mario 1 with different levels and it's much harder. Or like people that make levels on Mario Maker, like they should make a Mega Man Maker because Mega Man's 1 through 6 are like the same game over and over again with different levels and stuff. And I guess it's cool if you love Mega Man, then you know what you love. But I don't know if I love Mega Man.
Yeah.
And Mega Man games too, for me growing up, were like considered like a term nowadays, which I absolutely hate, is AAA titles. Are you familiar with that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what they consider.
Shelf.
Yeah, they consider like the $200 million productions of like Madden or Call of Duty or whatever the bigger games are. Skyrim or something like that. And when I was a kid, all the top tier games like Mega Man's and Castlevanias and Mario's and stuff like that were always more expensive. They never hit the clearance bin because they were always selling out. Something like Contra or whatever, you'd never see in a clearance bin. So when I was a kid, my parents, we didn't have a lot of money, and whenever I would get gifts, it was usually out of the clearance bin. And there were never any Mega Man games in the clearance bin, other than when I got one, many years later at a grocery store for sale for Mega Man 3. But I always got games that were kind of like the generic knockoff versions of Mega Man or Double Dragon. Like Double Dragon's generic knockoff to me was River City Ransom. So I got River City Ransom, which is actually a superior game in my opinion. And then for Mega Man, I found Zexyz, which I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's spelled XEXYZ. And it's actually a Hudson Soft space shooting type game. And I looked at the cover, and it was like a dude in like a robot suit or whatever. And I looked at the back, and it kind of looked like Mega Man. So I was like, oh my god, this is going to be just like Mega Man, and it's $6.99. Like, let's get this, Mom. And then, oh, here's your birthday gift. I'm like, thanks, Mom. Whatever. And and I remember going home and playing it, and I played through it, and it's fun. Actually, I just recently played through it like a year ago, and I updated my progress on my Instagram account, which you can totally follow me on, Joshua Turbox. Yeah. But I don't know. I have really fond memories of those games, and that's like other.
Josh, I'm not sure if it's you or me that locked up. So, hello world. It's me. It was Josh that locked up. You guys are stuck with me. I apologize. Josh asked me to sing a song. I'm not going to do that. You're welcome. I will go ahead and comment on what Josh was talking about because I'm not too good at interjecting. Mega Man games, they're also up there on my list. They hadn't occurred to me until he mentioned it. However, yeah, I played a little bit of Mega Man rental games growing up. I sucked at them royally. Oh, and look, we have Josh.
Hey, dude.
Are you joining us via smartphone?
I am. That's the craziest thing. I've never had this happen before. My computer literally just crashed in the middle of that, and I'm like, what do I do?
I know, I was just sitting there staring in silence. It's like, Josh, are you there? I'm getting scared. What do I do?
What do I do? That's like, God, did you ever watch Major League, the movie?
Major League?
Yeah,
Baseball? Yeah.
yeah. Where,
Charlie Sheen with his fastball, Joe Boo with his hats for the bats.
yeah, and then Bob Uecker, who is like a big Cleveland fan, and they're losing, they're getting their asses kicked, and so he like gets drunk while he's while he's doing commentary, and he falls asleep and passes out. And so his like commentator partner is like with him, and he never talks. And so they're like, "You'll have to take over. Go, go, go!" And he's watching the game, and he goes, "Fly ball, caught." I love that.
Yeah, that's me. I'm that guy.
Okay, so what were you talking about?
Oh, I was just kind of agreeing with you about the Mega Man games. They're very well renowned. However, they, along with so many other games that aren't TurboGrafx, are on my list of games that I have played a little bit. I've never really given a fair shake. Probably because either they're too damn hard or I'm just really terrible at video games. Um, I do remember enjoying playing them way back in like 1989 or whenever it was. They were new on the NES. I don't think I ever beat one though. I like games that play themselves. That's why I bought a big new smartphone. If they made a Mega Man that you just hit autoplay, I would be all over that.
All right, let's do this thing here. Okay. Whoa. Okay, let me leave this here. Okay.
There we go. Hi.
Welcome back.
Hey, thanks, man. It actually sounds kind of cool on the. Oh wow, I'm not the host? Am I? Oh yeah, there we go. It actually sounded kind of cool on my phone. Was the quality pretty good on that?
Not bad. I mean, the video quality wasn't quite the same.
Sure.
But the audio wasn't bad.
Nice. Cool, man. Cool. And I'm going to check to make sure that the video is still working because if we lost I can't see who's all on or not. So I made a list of games and now my list is gone. This sucks. So okay, the games that I can think of next that were on my list would be something like I played a lot of. Well, I shouldn't say I played a lot of. I played through the very first Knights of the Old Republic game. I thought that was a really great game on the Xbox. It also came out on the PC. But when those games, I think it was BioWare did those games, and they were a pretty big deal. They moved on to a game series called Mass Effect, and a lot of my friends have shouted up and down. Shouted up and down that I should try the Mass Effect games. They're really, really great games. So I wound up picking up the first and second ones, but I have a really hard time wanting to jump into it. I don't know what it is. It's just I think it's too intimidating. It's too daunting. It feels like it'd be a game that would take me ages to get into, and it'd be a major investment, and I would rather just play something that's not quite so engrossing, I think, is the word I'm maybe going for.
Yeah, I get it. It's a very long game.
But I really like Shenmue. Shenmue 1 and 2 are really brilliant games, and those took forever to play. But that was a lifetime ago. That was back in 2000 and 2001 or 2002. I mean, my kids were so little back then. It was I guess I had more free time. And I was also I was a factory worker, and gosh, I remember when Shenmue 1 first came out, and Usually around like the holiday months, so November, December, and January, our hours go down by like 50%. So we would work like 20 to 30 hours a week, and we collect unemployment on the last 10 hours. And man, I'd just play